I've been asked, how do I, since I haven't experienced that much, how do I play with, certain pieces with the kind of feeling that I do or expression? And so my answer is, well, I've got a good imagination.
That's only part of the answer. Matt Haimovitz has an enormous talent and a natural affinity for the instrument he first heard when he was 7.
I really started to love the cello from the very beginning. The beautiful sound and the way it was produced just struck me, and I wanted to get one of those. The first concerts I did were UNICEF benefits and for my school, little recitals. First time it mattered, I suppose, was the Saint-Saëns Concerto. That was my first professional concert.
That was 4 years ago. Now Matt is 17, and the Saint-Saëns Concerto is an important part of his repertoire. Matt Haimovitz has just made his first record, the Saint-Saëns Cello Concerto with the Chicago Symphony and conductor James Levine.
What's so marvelous is when you see somebody who's got everything in terms of the talent you need to start with. You need the talent, you need the skill, you need the gift, and you need the right proportions of intelligence and sensitivity and instinct.
Those qualities were recognized very early in Matt Haimovitz. He began his studies in California when he was 7 years old. Violinist Itzhak Perlman heard Matt and brought him to the attention of cellist Leonard Rose. After Matt played for Rose, his family moved to New York so that Matt could study with him.
He was more than just a teacher. He was an example for me. I would talk to him about school, about my experience in a certain performance, and he, now looking back at it, gave me probably the most important advice that I'd ever received. He would praise me quite often, but after every praise, he would always tell me not to let it get to my head.
Leonard Rose died a few years ago, and it was his wish that a former pupil, Yo-Yo Ma, should look after Matt. Now an international star, Yo-Yo Ma is more like an older musical brother than a formal teacher.
One of the things that he's taught me is to search out for myself my own original ideas about something and lead me in my own direction. So it's really kind of giving me guidelines to find it out in my own individual way.
Matt's way has led to success and honors at an early age. Here, he is playing the 250-year-old Italian-made cello that belonged to Pablo Casals. Matt was the first person allowed to perform on it since Casals' death in 1973.
It was in a room with all his books, and I saw the case with his name on it, with the address, where he lived. It was just so exciting.
There have been other honors. Matt is the youngest recipient ever of the Avery Fisher Career Grant Award, and the youngest artist to sign an exclusive recording contract with Deutsche Grammophon. He keeps his perspective by remembering Leonard Rose's advice. Don't let it go to your head.
if you listen to people saying how amazing you are, there's not much room for growth. Of course, I mean, it's inspiring to hear it, and it's part of the excitement that I love to do it. But you just don't take everything you hear or everything you read incredibly seriously.
Matt plays about 20 concerts a year, a heavy schedule for a 17-year-old high school senior.
And they say focal length on a lens.
After an 8-hour school day, he then spends 6 hours practicing. Many of those practice hours are with Joel Krosnick of the Juilliard String Quartet.
To the victory. He's a very serious young musician. It's quite exciting and alluring, and you can get blown away by it. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to sit there and really be sure I don't let anything go by that he might like to think about. And it's sort of very important because the rest of the world is going to go bravo.
But before facing the world for his debut recital in New York City, Matt had his share of anxiety.
For the Brahms, yeah.
Brahms only.
You know, New York, with its very pressureful atmosphere and huge ego and all of that, made it much more difficult to play that concert. But in a sense, it was even more rewarding.
House is ready when you are ready.
Okay. I used a little bit of reasoning to kind of calm myself down. You know, if I can play in Detroit or in San Francisco or in Los Angeles, why can't I play in New York?
Good time.
I thought it was wonderful. And I thought, if you have basically, under that kind of pressure, that much fun, then that bodes very well for you being able to do this over a lifetime.
What will make me the happiest is to constantly develop as a musician and, you know, to have a family and all of just a normal life, but one that I can make as much of a difference as I possibly could. You know, just share whatever I have with as many people as I can.